Now, the row over Olympic boxers Iman Khif and Taiwan's Lin Yuting descended into chaos and farce at a press conference held by the International Boxing Association today. Khif and Yuting, who are both guaranteed a medal at the Games, have been cleared to fight by the International Olympic Committee, who are adamant that both fighters were born and raised as women and have female passports. Now, that stance is in stark contrast to the IBA, who banned the boxers from competing at the 2023 Women's World Championships. Our senior reporter, Geraint Hughes, was at that news conference and joins us now. Geraint, before we get into the detail of what happened, just give us an idea of the scenes at that news conference.
I think it's also worth just reminding our viewers, Mike, that the IBA itself is a banned organisation. It is banned from organising Olympic boxing competitions here in Paris, as it was at the Tokyo Games 3 years ago. And that ban has been upheld in the courts as well. As legally binding, the Court of Arbitration for Sport have upheld that ban. I think it's worth making that point as well. In terms of today, Mike, utterly extraordinary. In my entire career, I have never been to a press conference that has transpired in that way. It was an hour late, fine, but it was badly organised, it was shambolic, it was chaotic. People were shouting over questions, answers were being interrupted, answers were not being given to clear questions. There was a lot of an anger and frustration even before the press conference had began, and there was a lot of anger and frustration during the press conference as well. Some journalists from many nations walked out. They'd had enough, not just on the subject matter and how it was being dealt with by the IBA officials, but also by the tone of the press conference as well. And as we'll come to later as well, there was a protest as well from some people from the Algerian delegation who managed to get into the press conference as well. It was just utterly, I'm still digesting it, Mike, to be honest. It was utterly incredible. I've been to, this is my 9th Olympic Games, winter and summer I've covered, numerous World Cups, etc. I have never, ever been in a situation as extraordinary as that, and I am not alone in how I interpreted and analysed what happened this afternoon here in Paris.
OK, so that said, Geraint, did the IBA shed any light at all on the test these boxers are supposed to have failed?
In a moment, we will hear from the General Secretary of the IBA, a man called Chris Roberts. Fairness and balance, we want to hear what he has to say. But I'll just caveat this first. The invite to myself and every other media organisation who may be here in Paris that wanted to attend, the IBA would give a detailed explanation of why they banned Iman Khif and Lin Yuting from their World Championships in Delhi last year. Detailed explanation. This is what Chris Roberts said.
On the 23rd of March, the results came through, and it demonstrated the chromosomes that we refer to within the technical and competition rules that make both boxers ineligible. And that was then further ratified by the BOD, our board of directors. It was taken there to remove both boxers from the championships. We never intended to raise any of these issues at this event, because this is not our event. This event belongs to the IOC. The whereabouts of this has come out based on the result of the bout between the Italian Angela Carini and Iman Khif. I will point out that the president of the Italian Boxing Federation indeed hasn't been happy with previous results, and I would like to say that in this instance there was questions raised by the Italian Federation prior to her bout that took place. We're not able to disclose the results of any tests, but you can read between the lines where that sits. And of course, what I'd also like to mention here is that yesterday evening and this morning we've received letters from the NOCs in Chinese Taipei and Algeria respectively, informing us that we can't disclose any information pertinent to either boxer.
So, Geraint, he promised us a detailed explanation. So my question to you is, was that it?
Pretty much, yeah. Chris Roberts caveated at the end saying, read between the lines. Well, you can't on such a sensitive subject. When we were asked, we were told we were going to get a detailed explanation. We understand, everybody in that room who was a trained journalist understands about medical privacy and the need for that. However, there was just an acceptance of, from their point of view, that proof that they had taken 2 tests, one in 2022 and one in 2023. We do not know what those tests were. We're told they're from a laboratory in Istanbul and one in Delhi. Yes, there may be proof of a test, but we don't know what the tests were and we don't know what the results were. So how can you have a detailed explanation? What is the point? What was the point of today other to add more confusion upon an extremely sensitive, difficult to understand and damaging subject matter? Whether you're interested in the boxes involved or not, it just seemed to add more confusion and chaos to the situation we've had here in Paris for the last 5-6 days.
Well, I know Khif spoke herself, so what does she have to say?
Yes, today, the first time that Iman Khif has sat down and spoken without probably emotion. She has given a few interviews post-bout, in mix zones and short sound bites you get after a fight, where probably the emotion, the adrenaline is high. Today, she has sat down with a considered response, probably taken in everything that has happened globally, not just within her sphere, globally within the last 5 or 6 days. I think what's interesting most of all is that she still wants to be so focused on her boxing, but just continue to listen and read the subtitles, because Iman Khif, she has been translated from Algerian into English here, is just the sense of the bullying that she feels that she's been subjected to over the course of the last week or so here in Paris.
هذا هو السؤال اللي راني نطرح فيه النفسي أنا بحد ذاتي، نقول علاش حتى الآن، لماذا حتى الآن يصرى هذا الشيء. ما على باليش، أنا مهم جيت هنايا مركزة على الهدف تاعي وهو الأولمبياد. اليوم راني في نصف النهائي، إن شاء الله نكون في الموعد في نصف النهائي. إن شاء الله يوفقني ربي ونقدر نتحكم في الأمور وباش نجتاز هذه المرحلتين والمرحلة النصف النهائي. أنا نوجه رسالتي لكامل شعوب العالم أنهم يكونوا متمسكين بالمبادئ الأولمبية حسب الميثاق الأولمبي، وابتعاد عن التنمر على جميع الرياضيين، لأنه هذا الشيء أثر ويأثر كثير وكثير، قادر يدمر ناس حتى يقتل تفكير وذهن.
Another element from today's extraordinary events here in Paris, at the back of the press conference, not too far from actually where I was sitting, towards the end it became evident that 2 members of the Algerian Olympic delegation were inside the room, 2 female members of the delegation. One, it transpires, is Iman Khif's best friend. She boxes with her, has done for a long time. She's actually a member of the Algerian boxing team, the female member of the boxing team. She fights in the 50-kilogram category. Her and a colleague who herself was a former boxer here, as you can see, they took their jackets off, revealed that they were wearing Algerian tops, and they were waving the Algerian flag to make a protest in a very, very tense atmosphere as well. Some bravery from those 2 women involved. I caught up with Iman Khif's best friend shortly after that. She was trying to get away, but she stopped and she spoke to me about Iman Khif. Listen to what she had to say. You are Iman's friend. How is Iman?
Iman is getting better and better, and with the support of Thomas Bach, she's really confident. We have to support, we don't have to stay silent, and that's what I did today, is to give support to my friend and to say that Iman Khif is a woman. She was born like a woman and she is always a woman. She can fight and she's a winner and she will bring gold to home. We trust her and we believe in her. She is a very strong woman, and that's what I can say.
this is such a complicated, sensitive issue. I would urge anyone, if they want to do some further reading, again, there is a very, very good, detailed article on the Sky Sports app on skysports.com on the subject matter. It explains numerous angles and views within the issue of this story. I would urge people to take the time and look at it at their leisure. But here in Paris, Mike, just utterly extraordinary day. I never actually thought I'd see a day with a press conference with that kind of element, that kind of tone about boxing and about sport here at the Olympics. Truly extraordinary.